Yo. Hmm. Oh boy. That's good. That's really, really good. You know, I thought about calling this video Fireside Chat. Wouldn't that be nice? A little bit of background music going and just having a little fireside chat. Hmm. Oh boy, that's really good. You know, my friend, oh goodness gracious, Olaf, Olaf, God for God forbid me if that's not his name, but my friend Olaf from Germany, Deutschland, gave me this cup, and I thought I'd break it out this morning for my little chat. You know what's interesting about life is that sometimes things happen to you, and they just seem disastrous. Something will happen, a relationship will end, you lose a job, whatever. Just bad things will happen to you, and you wonder why me. You know why did it have to happen to me? And the interesting thing about that is, they say that hindsight is 2020, and boy, over the years, as I've come to have more years behind me than likely ahead of me. Although I don't know. No, I'm not going to live to be. I'm not going to live to be 120. But who knows? They might come out with something. They might come out with something that I could live to be that old. But anyway, you look back on your life, and what what seemed like disasters were, like blessings in disguise, so to speak. And I say that because I like to, I love to entertain. I love to bring people together, and I love people to when I bring them together. I love them to go home thinking that was nice, that was fun, and I got all excited with the coming summer, and I got all my patio stuff set out. Took everything out of the shed. I set up all the the furniture. I even broke out the hammock. And we don't get a lot of bad weather around here. Actually, it's rather nice weather we get around this neck of the woods. And but we do get wind. I guess everybody gets wind to one extent or another. But we'll get these wind advisories. If there is ever a weather alert, like a severe weather alert, the majority of times those weather alerts are for wind advisory, strong wind advisory. And even at that, the winds aren't that strong, 30 miles an hour, something like that. I remember growing up on the lake shore of Lake Erie doing my newspaper route. And kids don't have newspaper routes these days, I don't believe. But doing my newspaper route and the winds coming off of Lake Erie, they were brutal. I mean, just brutal. Especially on Wednesdays when the coupon section came with the papers, and I had to have two bags, one on each side of me because the papers were so thick. I hated Wednesdays. I really did. Tuesdays were pretty good because Tuesdays there wasn't a lot of news on Tuesdays. I don't know what it is about Tuesdays and there's not a lot of news, but Wednesday had a lot of coupons. Anyway, hmm. So I got everything all set up and I put my table out. Beautiful table. I paid at Costco last year. I paid over probably well over $2,000 for this patio set. It was a nice table. It came with oh goodness, it came with 6 chairs. The 2 chairs on the ends, they kind of swiveled. Sun fabric. Whatever. It was a nice table. It was a functional table, I should say. That's a better way to describe it. It was a functional table. Anyway, I wasn't thinking, and there was a wind advisory, and I had left my canopy in the table. The table's got the little hole in the center. This table was a rectangle table, and I had put the canopy into the center of this table, and I left the canopy up. And wind came along while I wasn't home, and the umbrella did like a Mary Poppins off it. You know, bent. Well, it completely ruined the table. You would have think that you would think that the umbrella would just kind of bend, you know, but no, it cracked. It just cracked the whole table. The table was ruined. I mean, because the top of the table was like I don't know what you call it, a tile or something like that. And it was just all cracked. I think I shared that in one of my videos before. But, but anyway, I was crushed. Here I am all excited about the summer and having parties and all that kind of stuff. And I was just crushed. And I was going to try to fix it. And I know it would have looked half-ass. And I know it would have bothered me to no end every time there was a little party or a barbecue. Is that getting too warm for you? Is that too hot? Let me know and I'll turn it down, okay? If that gets too hot, I'll turn it down a little bit for you. But, anyway, you laugh. I used to laugh. That's what my dad used to say. But anyway, so it was Mark. It was Mark from Michigan, bless his heart, that said, "Didn't you get that table at Costco? You got that table at Costco, didn't you?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Take it back." So, I took some pictures of the table. And I went down to the local Costco. And I went right to the top. I went right to the membership management. And I told them, I said, "Hey, listen, I spent a lot of money here. I got an $800 rebate check last year." And his eyes lit up. He said, "You did? $800 rebate check? Wow." And I said, "Look what happened to my table. The umbrella blew. And it just cracked the table." And I said, "Bring it back? Really? Bring it back?" He said, "Yeah, bring it back." Unbelievable. So I took it back. And I got this table that I'm sitting at. This is the round table. It still seats 6, but it's beautiful. And I got a heavy duty umbrella. I upped my umbrella game, But anyway, so what seemed like a disaster really turned out to be really, really wonderful. But anyway, what else is on my mind? I gotta tell you, it is, it I've told people before that it seems like this house, this property, was made for me. It seems like when they were turning screws, pounding nails, putting in the irrigation, all that stuff, it seems like they were doing it just for me. It's like this house was made for me. The perfect fit. Really, I mean, it seems like the perfect fit. And the other day I was driving down the road and I was thinking, I was going over to this church where they have this big community garden. It's not a community garden. It's the garden of the church. And they grow food there, and they feed homeless people. Well, not homeless. Well, they feed the needy. They feed, the food banks. They supply food banks with fresh produce. And I'm driving down the road, and I couldn't help but to think, if Eagle, this place that I ended up, of all the places I've traveled in the world, if this place is not the absolute perfect fit for me. It really is wonderful. There's no place that I'd rather be. I see pictures of people going on vacations here or there and doing all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, been there, done that. It's not like I don't ever want to travel again. I've got my heart set on going down under again this coming winter, Lord willing. But it's just it's wonderful to be in a place where you'd rather be no other place, and to be doing what you love. It's a blessing. It really is. But anyway, so then I pulled into the parking lot of this church, and you can look at this church online. It's an eagle, and it's the Nazarene, Nazarene, Nazarene Church. Eagle Nazarene Church, or Church of the Nazarene, or something like that. It's on State Street, and if you were to look on it on Google Earth, or the satellite view on Google Maps, you'd see the garden. And they're always looking for volunteers. I mean, this isn't a garden, it's more like a farm. I mean, it's big. It's really big. And they're always looking for volunteers. And I found myself thinking, I need to find it. I want to find a church. Being a single guy, I want to feel like I belong to a family of sorts. And I can't think of any better way to ingratiate myself with the right people than finding a good church and becoming active in the church. And I just think that would be it would be mutually beneficial. It would be beneficial for me, of course, and I'm sure that I could be of benefit to others. And I looked at that garden, and it's all volunteers. And there's a little sign there. I don't know. It says something like right at the beginning of this garden. It says Don's Garden. Whoever Don was. I don't think Don is with us anymore. Bless his heart, rest his soul. He could be. Okay, but I think it's been there quite a while, and I think he was the original guy. And I look at that garden, and it's not even 5 minutes from me. Just right down the road, I could ride my bicycle there. And I just wonder, if that's not the perfect fit for me. To be there, helping the gentleman that runs that now, I met him last year. He's a wonderful man. He's a master gardener. And boy, what I could learn from him, and what have you. But anyway, it just seems like an absolute perfect fit. Mm. Let me show you the garden, okay? I gotta get one moment. Ooh. I gotta put on my. If we're going to the garden, I gotta put on my farmer's hat. You see? There we go. Yeah. Now I'm a farmer. This fire is so nice. After dinner, you can make s'mores. You can. You can roast your marshmallows, after dinner, and have the graham crackers and everything, and just make s'mores. It's really cool. But anyway, let me show you the setup here. Oh goodness, we got a lot of people watching. So look at the setup. Tell me that's not nice. I think my lens is dirty. Excuse me, I'm gonna clean my lens. You're gonna have to excuse me just for a moment while I wipe the lens. Sorry about that. Okay. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? You see, and then look at this canopy. And I can move the canopy all around. I can tilt it. I can swivel it. I can do all kinds of stuff with this canopy. And it's solar. You see? I've got these lights. You see, there's my little light control. See, there's the light. I can't. Ooh, there you go. Look at that. You got a little Andrea Bocelli playing out here. Nice salad from the garden. Ooh, yeah. How romantic. If only I could find a woman. Oh, goodness gracious. Isn't that beautiful? But anyway, the lawn is coming along. I had all these low spots. You can put the canopy over the hot tub too. I could. Nice that the cup is still there. Greetings from Germany, Olaf and Barbara. So you see, remember all the low spots that I was fixing in the lawn from where the dogs peed? So that's a mixture of sand and sifted topsoil. And I went through with my landscape rake, my big landscape rake, and I just kind of raked it over. So the brown spots that you see there, those were low spots in the lawn. And the grass should grow through there in no time at all, and it'll all be nice and green again. But I'm anxious to show you what I've been doing in the garden out here. See, I got my nice little lights going around the perimeter of the house there. There's my hammock. I'll give you a little tour of the garden. It's been hot the last couple days, into the 80s, but now it's going to go right back down to the 60s, 70s, ideal growing weather. So here's my look at how well my strawberries are doing. You see that? Interestingly enough, though, I'm going to scale these back, and I'm going to put bush beans in between. I think, oh, look at that. I've got stuff growing there. I don't know what that is. I think it's lettuce. Oh, goodness gracious. I plant stuff, and I forget what I planted. That's a problem. I think that's lettuce. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to scale all this back, and I'm going to have a row of strawberries, bush beans, strawberries, bush beans, strawberries. You know, that's what's going in there. But folks, you won't believe the progress that I've made on this garden. Look at this. It is just coming along incredible. It really is. So I've been, you know, all last year I struggled with supporting plants. It was crazy. I had plants falling all over the place. They were too close together. They you know, I couldn't support them properly. It was a total mess. It was a total jungle. So, you know, I've spent a lot of time watching YouTube videos, educating myself, and in doing trellises. So what I've got here, look at this. Isn't this beautiful? These fences right here. You see this fence? It's dirt cheap. A 16-foot panel will cost you 35 bucks. And what I did was I took these 4x4s and I got these posts, these anchor posts, you see? So I didn't dig cement or anything, but I got those, and then I actually drilled holes. You can see where I put the, you can see I did this very carefully. I took the, this, and I put it, I wanted it right in the middle. I wanted it nice and clean. And then I alternated, you know, I cut some of these off. So, but some of these go right through, you see, they go right through there. You see that? Now this, yeah, there you go. Now some would think that it was a woodpecker, you know, that was doing that, you know, but no, but that, this right here is just, it's really sturdy. It really, really is sturdy. But anyway, so my idea with this is I'm going to do what's called a Florida weave. W-E-A-V-E, a Florida weave. So I'm going to space my tomato plants. In total I'll have about 12 of them. But I'm going to space my tomato plants straight down the center here, every 2 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The basket in the back, I'm going to have the basket in the back just for curiosity, but anyway, so I want to see how the basket does. I'm not going to put all these plants in baskets. I wouldn't like the look of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive a stake right here. I'm going to put a stake right there, 6 foot stakes. So one right here, one right there, and one down by that basket. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take twine and I'm going to weave it in between the plants. You see, if you can picture that. So the twine, every foot up the plant, I'm going to just take the twine and just weave it down, and then come back and weave it. And every foot, as these tomatoes grow, you know, I'll have 6 to 8 foot tomatoes growing up there. And I gotta tell you, these tomatoes are just going to town. This right here, for example, this is an Oxheart tomato. You see? And this plant just looks really, really healthy. They all look healthy, you know? All of these. So I'm going to have tomatoes down this row. Look at that. You see that large cherry? And I started these from seeds. So these are going to be planted every 2 feet. And then I'm going to plant marigolds and basil. Marigolds and basil go a long way in helping, you know, with pest, keeping the pest away. So that'll be marigold and basil. And then look at these beds. See, these are all my peppers. Unbelievable. I went to the nursery the other day, and I was looking at their starters that they sell for $5 or $6. They didn't look anywhere near as good as mine did. Nowhere near. Look at the lettuce. You see the lettuce and the spinach? Look at that. You see? I got lettuce and spinach going there, so I can have a fresh salad every night. I got a little bok choy going over there. So I got to figure out what I'm going to plant here, in these beds. I know I have some ideas, what I'm going to be planting. But in the center here, right here in the center, I'm going to have, did you name? No, I didn't name her yet. But in the center, I'm going to have my my butternut squash, my what's the other squash you grow? The name for cantaloupe. Oh, spaghetti squash. So I'll have spaghetti squash, I'll have butternut squash, I'll have honeydew melon, I'll have cantaloupe, growing in there. And then probably what I'll do is a lot of these peppers will grow in pots. So I'll probably put some of these peppers maybe in pots, or I'll put them in the beds kind of along the side. Maybe some of the peppers, will go over there. Look at this cute little thing. I was driving through a village on my way to Poland. You see that? Isn't that cute? It's like a little bicycle or something. I was driving through Poland, through a little village, and I saw a woman selling these on the sidewalk. And I turned around because I absolutely loved it. And I thought, I want to get one of these. And I must have gotten this thing 15 years ago or more. And I've just kind of carried it around with me over the years, thinking that one time, I'll find a use for it. So that's going to go right there. My friend Lois brought me all of these zinnias. Look at these. She started these from seed. These are all zinnias. They grow about 3 feet tall. Over here, this is going to be where my pumpkins and my pumpkins and watermelons go. See, they're all going to kind of trail out over here. You got to have vision for this. So that's where all that stuff is going to go. The melons and the watermelon, or the pumpkins and gourds and that kind of stuff. It's all going to kind of just go out over there. And where's my coffee? Isn't this beautiful? Here's you see all my flowers? This is my staging area. This is my verbena. You see my verbena is going really nice. Over there I have my African daisies. Look at that. African daisies. These are my petunias. Over there's my phlox. Really something else. And I've got tomatoes to spare. You see, I'm going to have tomatoes to spare. But this is going to be my flower garden. And over there, you see, I got all my pots all ready. You see, here's a little wicker planter I found. I'm going to put a trailing bush, trailing flowers on that. But I've got all my plants ready. What is there? 9, not quite a few of those. My African daisies are going to go in that blue planter, right there. Now look at all this stuff. You see? It's all really starting to kick in. Look at my cauliflower. my kohlrabi, my fava beans. Oh, I can't wait to harvest those. Those are the oldest. Those are the oldest crop that we know of that's been harvested by men. Are the fava beans. So those are going to be really good, and they'll be good for you too, or good for me. Here's my red cabbage, and my Princess Diana. It's doing pretty well. You see, it's coming up. That's coming up pretty well. I put this here on the back. I'm not quite sure what to grow up that. I'll figure it out. I was thinking flowers or something, you know. I don't know. We will see, as the saying goes. And look at my cabbage. You see, it's just going to town. It really is something else. And all my kale. I actually have to start harvesting this kale and start cooking it. You see, I got all this kale here. So I'm going to have to start cutting some of this stuff back. But isn't that a beautiful plant? There's my Brussels sprouts. I got some garlic going over there. And here are my collard greens. Look at this. You see, my collard greens are just going to town. My little carrots are coming up. If you can see those, where are they? There they are. You see, my carrots are coming up. There's my spinach. My spinach is just coming up and doing really, really well. Over here I have my radishes. So there's my radishes. They're all coming up. You know, really is something. And somewhere over there I've got, I think these are beets. I've got beets coming up over here. I've got beets coming up over there. And there is my patron saint of gardeners that Mr. Paul Crowley and Debbie sent to me. Right over there, his wife Debbie. But anyway, folks. Oh, and then last but not least, look at this. I got my spuds coming up. You see? Look at that. All my little potato plants are coming up. Coming up nicely. I've got them in these 5-gallon sacks. You see? And as the potatoes grow taller, I'm just going to cover them with dirt and then bring the sack up so that it's the size of those ones over there. And I'll have a whole bunch of potatoes for Thanksgiving. So, anyway, that's about it, folks. That is that's the tour. Now I do, before I go, I'll show you this here. Look at this. A buddy of mine had a bunch of these lamps. I think I showed these to you before. You see, but I'm going to put these, if you can visualize this, I'm going to take that lamp off, okay, or maybe I could keep it on, but it's going to go right there in a hanging basket, you see. So I was watching a video last night of a gardener, one of my favorite on YouTube, and he was talking about his garden, and he and I share a similar philosophy. And he said something that really stuck with me. And he said when you're creating a garden, create a space that draws people to it. Create a space that draws people to it. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to do, is to create a space that when people come over, they're drawn to it. It's not like just having a couple beds over in the corner with some, cages and whatever. That's not going to necessarily draw anybody to it. But when people come over here, I want them to be drawn to the garden. I want them to come over and just look at it and say, I want to see what's going on over there. Do you whisper sweet nothings to the plants? No, I don't whisper. I don't whisper sweet nothings to the plants, Carlo. But anyway, no. But you want to create a space that draws people to it. And when I'm having I'm going to have a garden party. Facebook Eagle has a Facebook page, and I'm going to have a contest. And people, to enter the contest, they have to enter. They have to submit what they're going to bring, and it's got to serve 6 people. So maybe I'll have 20 people enter with 20 different appetizers. And then I'm going to create a website, and people will vote. They won't know whose appetizer it is or whose salad it is. They won't know, whatever. So people will go to a web page, and there'll be a selection of appetizers with a little description. And they'll pick which appetizer they want. And then I'll take the top 3 of each category, top 3 appetizers, top 3 salads, top 3 side dishes, top 3 entrees, whatever. And those are the people that'll come to the party. So I'll have about 18 people. 18 people. These are strangers. These will be strangers. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. I wouldn't want strangers coming to my house. No. Are you kidding me? You're going to invite strangers to your house? That sounds kind of strange. But no, think about it. This is a community. You're building a community. It takes a garden. Oh my God, did I quote Hillary Clinton? Oh no. Take that back, scratch that. No, I didn't. Oh no. It takes a it takes a community. It takes a community. What is that? I think Hillary said something like that. But anyway, no, but I think that would be just a great idea. And you know what? I was a little bit disappointed because I had my heart set on putting a cross. I was going to put a 10-foot cross over there in that corner where you see that spot of earth. So I was going to put a big, big cross up there. Yeah, that's right. That's right. But I was going to put a big cross up there, and then I thought, it's going to be covered with all of these plants, because when all these plants start growing and everything, it's going to be covered. So what I thought instead is right here in this corner, I'm going to build a little mound, just a little mound right there. And in the center of that mound, I'm going to put a cross. Probably about, not too big, just a cross about 4 feet high. And then around the mound, or at the base of the cross, I'm going to plant flowers. So people will, when they're coming over, when they're drawn to the garden, the first thing they'll see is the cross. And as I come in and out of the garden, in the late hours of the night or the early morning hours, I'll put my hand on that cross and I'll say, thank you, Lord. Thank you. And that's it. So anyway, all right, folks, I got to get going. Oh my goodness, I'm wasting all that propane on my fire. Wouldn't that be something if I turned around and the canopy was on fire and then the canopy caught the house? Oh, goodness gracious. No, don't even say that. I did have a house that caught fire. Anyway. All right, folks. So I've got to run. There is a, as I go here, I've got house guests coming next week. I've got three house guests coming next week. Two are coming from Florida. And one of them. You know one of them, and you probably love this individual. But I have 2 friends coming from Florida and one coming from California, and their visits are going to actually overlap one another. Interestingly enough, so it's going to be a nice week. Anyway, all right, folks, take care. And as my dad used to say, bless his heart, rest his soul. No, Nope, not Yanni. Not Yane. No, not Yane. Yane's not coming. But somebody else. You're close. You're actually close. Uh, in that, two of my guests that are coming are what is it, Latino or something. But anyway, all right, folks. As my dad used to say, bless his heart, rest his soul. I love you all, and have a great day.